Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice hour of some beat making, some spontaneous improvised beat making on these RC505 loopers. And I'm going to be talking about what I'm doing. We're going to get into the buttons and everything. How did I make that sound? All of that. Man, it's going to be such a good time. You made the right decision on how to spend your time. Right now we are in a warm-up phase. We are just getting the blood flowing, getting everything situated, getting things how they need to be. And I see that the man himself, Cornish, has joined us, which is really nice. If you are new to the Reconsider It live streams, welcome! You are welcome here. We want you here. Thank you for joining us. As we are getting the blood flowing right now, my friends, in this warm-up phase, I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate you. Thank you for being here. Whether you are here with us live in the chat, or you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, or you are here with us after the stream, however it is that you are here with us, thank you for being here. I am going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I'm going to count up to 3. I'm going to clink the screen. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along to celebrate our togetherness. Oh my goodness. 1, it's already happening, this build up, listen to it. 2, oh my goodness, it's happening so fast I didn't think of it. Oh, 3, clink. Cheers, my friend. Oh boy, now that is good. Oh, yes. Please like this video. Please subscribe. I see right now we are joined by Faye. Welcome, my old friend. as we are here in a 505 beat making stream. As I said earlier, I'm going to be talking about how I make the beats, how I make it sound like it does. How did I get, it's just my voice going through the microphone. There's no other, the synthesizer's not plugged in and it's not turned on anyway. How did I get these to sound like this? What buttons am I pressing and all this? This is a really good stream for you if you like learning about these like technical details. You're gonna love all this. If you're thinking about getting one of these 505s, how can I make some dope beats on some 505s using just my voice? Is that doable? The answer is yeah. I'm going to show you how I make this and how I'm going to keep building on it right before your eyes. You already have a 505. You already do it. You've been doing it for a long time and you want to see how some other artist does it. You're going to get so much out of this stream. You're also going to get a lot if you just like me. I'm going to be talking to you a lot. So I have this foundation of a beat that I made before the stream began. How did I make this beat? We'll go through a brief review. My regulars of the 505 beat making streams, you know much of what you're already hearing, but let's begin at the beginning. We got a kick. We got this kick drum here. So how did I make this sound? It's just the microphone. Now, I don't have some kind of awesome acapella beatboxing skills. I'm not some kind of Swiss beatboxing champion. That's not, no. When I beatbox, it's very simple. It's just like that kind of, it's just, that's the sound I'm making for this kick drum. But you can see that the looper has amplified it and made it sound different. So how did I do that? Well, here on the bottom looper, which is the one I'm using, the kick drum here, this one is built out of 2 input layers. You can stack input layers on these loopers. Input effects, I should say. So I use 2 input effects in this case. And my regulars, this is going to sound familiar to you. But I started with an EQ. The EQ, where you can tune up and down the low and high end of the sound of the input. I turn the low end up and I turn the high end down. That's the EQ that I use for this kick drum, which a cappella, that's it. That's my real a cappella. But then after I took the EQ and I dialed it up and down a little, I took a lo-fi, and that's why you can hear it has like a little bit of grittiness, a very small amount of grittiness. It's a little limited. That's it. So again, if you're looking to see, can I handle making beats on one of these things? The answer is yes. Yes, you don't have to worry about whether your acapella is awesome. That's what the machines are for. But then after the kick, I have this like shaker layer here. This is just me going, that's it, to varying degrees, like that's it, in rhythm. I do a couple of layers of it. You can overlay. This one is just the same EQ as the kick. It matches a little. And then also, in addition to that EQ, it does not have the shaker does not have the lo-fi that the kick does. Instead, I just put it through a reverb. So it's basically just an EQ going through a reverb for this shaker layer. It's the same thing with that like clapped thing. That same EQ and reverb together. You are caught up now in the percussion. My regulars know that that sounds kind of familiar. Most of my percussion is kind of in the same narrow range. I have 2 basic kinds of percussions. I've been also putting them through a little bit of a delay. So you might have heard me playing with that earlier. You can always do the output effects rather, in the upper right-hand corner of the looper. I usually like doing this kind of delay with a shaker or a clap like I have on right now. It doesn't always work with the kick, but this one does work with a kick, so that's pretty dope. You're probably going to hear me messing with that a lot over the next hour. But anyway, you are fully caught up on the percussion. So that's the lower looper. I use that for non-melodic stuff. Then we have the top looper for everything that has kind of melodic key to it. And by the way, for my musician friends who like to jam along, this one is tuned to the key of D major. Beats per minute is 143.1. So on the top looper, anything that has to be tuned to a key. I see right now also that Trusto is here, which is nice. As it's glitch We must also welcome. We must be very humble before him and welcome the crazy So now that we're on the top looper, here we got the bass. And the top looper is the Mark II, whereas the bottom looper is the Mark I. Mark II has way more features. One of the other features of the top looper, in addition to tuning, is that it lets you stack 4 input effects. And I usually use all 4 in all of the instruments I build. How did I build this bass instrument? Because me singing a cappella is just like do. I'm exaggerating a little, but I don't have this like awesome, deep, resonant bass voice. It's the looper doing it. So how did I build this bass? Here it is, my friends. My regulars know that my basses generally start with the one called guitar to bass, which just drops the octave a lot. Like you're putting a guitar into it instead of a microphone, and you play it and it sounds like a bass. That's what it's, I don't know if that's what it's really for, because this machine is really made for beatboxers. I mean, as they both are. But in any case, guitar to bass, that's the first input effect that I'm using to create this particular bass instrument that I made. The guitar to bass drops the octaves, make it sound like a bass, pretty nice. Then I pass that into electric. That's the tuner. That's what's making it always snap to the key of D major. So that when I'm off key, it just snaps it in to make it D major, which is very nice. That takes things up, such another level. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. Don't try to act like it's funny, because it's not. It's not even funny. We got the guitar to bass passed into electric. Nice. It's tuned. That's dope. But then there's still 2 more over here, and you can see. Can you see it? It might not be clear on the camera, but these 4 buttons that are lit up, 3 of them are red, or like a, I don't know, like an orangish red kind of thing. And then one of them, this one here, is a pinkish color, fuchsia type thing. The one that's pink is the one that's being dynamically controlled by the, I don't know, dial of this thing. And that one right now, I had my guitar to bass on the first one here, passed into the electric, which is the tuner. Then it's passed into a tremolo. So the tremolo is the one that I'm dynamically controlling on the bass as I do it. And you can hear that I'll stop talking for a second and you can hear the bass go in and out with tremolo. So that's you can control one of them at a time with this dial here. Maybe that's the word I was looking for earlier. So we got guitar to bass, electric, tremolo, and then all of that is passed into a sustainer, which I am told is effectively a compressor. I think of it as a loudness control, but I understand that's basically what a compressor is, I guess. I don't really understand compression. I'm not an audio engineer. I have some rudimentary trial and error mixing skills, but I don't really know stuff. If I wasn't actively doing it, I couldn't like go talk about it in the abstract while not in the presence of it. I don't retain it. So you got the bass as well now. You're looking for tips on how to get started because you're new to 505s. That's one example way that you could build a bass and just have like really poor singing like I do and still have it sound listenable. And give a little flavor to it so you got a dynamic control. That's always really nice. Now after this bass we had these other ones. This I don't know what you call it, but here we are. This is what it is. My regulars know how I generally build my beats, I suppose. And also how I correlate that with the layout, the physical layout of the looper. Speaking of the physical layout of the looper. George G is with us. So I keep the bass loop, I guess, physically positioned in the center of the looper, and it's also panned center. Oh, and by the way, friendly reminder, my looper content is generally best consumed with some kind of noise-canceling headphones. So the bass is in the center, pan, but then these other ones to the left and to the right are panned to the left and to the right, more and less. Further panned, further out. Less panned, less out. And so we have this one, as well as this other one here, that are the same instrument, but just slightly panned left and right, complementary in some way, flanking the bass. And how did I build this one? This is just me going like, ooh. That's it. And it transforms it as follows. It starts with a distortion. Distortion is a really powerful input effect in this looper, the top one here. The bottom one has a distortion, but it has one mode, and it's what you'd expect. It's a distortion, does what it promised, very nice. Gave it, much approval. On the top looper, though, when they released the second model, there was just such an upgrade with it. The distortion now has like 4 or 5, I think, different types within it that have different levels of being really distorted sounding or grainy or whatever it is. On this one, I'm using the distortion with a subtype of vocal, which is the plain vanilla version. And that is what you get actually from the lower looper. The vocal, that's the starting point. Some of these distortion types get a lot more highly distorted, even like very loud, and you have to be messing with the subdials in order to make them sound even listenable. But that's the cool stuff. That's where you dig into the little minutia of what a given sound sounds like. In any case, distortion of the vocal type, that is the core flavor of this instrument that I built. I take that distortion, that's this top one here, and I then pass it into an electric in the second slot. That's the tuner, that's what makes it a D. Then I pass it into a reverse delay. So you can hear on these there is some delay. You can hear it when the notes transition or when the loop repeats. pretty subtle. I didn't put a lot, but it's there to be heard. So we got distortion, electric, reverse delay is what I put on. There's a few different types of delay on the top looper as well. Oh, it's so much better. They added so many features. It's so awesome. And then all of that, I passed it into an EQ. And in this case, I was using the EQ really just as a volume control because it was pretty low. But I also have the EQ high end turned down a lot. Not all the way, but pretty far down, almost all the way. -17 to be precise. -17 decibels. So it's a little muted, which is something I generally do with this, instrument that I use to flank the bass. So this is good. Top looper also, I have been using a plain vanilla reverb on the output effects over here, so you may hear some of that. And of course my regulars know that in order to determine whether something is getting output effects applied to it on the top looper, there's this red-orange effects button. You see that these have the orange effects button on, it's orange, whereas this middle one does not, the bass. So when I dial up the reverb on the side over here, it doesn't apply to the bass since it's not enabled. Again, you should feel very confident in using one of these. If you're considering using one, for some beats and such, you're going to use just your vocals. You should feel very confident in that. They're very straightforward. There's a lot of buttons, but once you have a simple example path, you can absolutely get started. And that's what this stream is giving you. So, at this point, you are fully caught up on this foundation of a beat that I made before the stream began. I haven't yet made anything new on the stream yet. I see Glitch Math says, hey, with this XP, I feel like I'm playing Reconsider at the role-playing game. What do you have, like the #1 fan thing in the chat? Do you have that right now? Oh, actually, yeah. Let me check I have a monitor. I should have just looked. Yeah, Glitch Math has #1 right now. I usually look at my StreamYard thing, which doesn't feed in a lot of data from YouTube, but I do actually have a second monitor from the YouTube perspective, so I can confirm that. Yeah, YouTube does that now. That started, I don't know when that started, probably a couple months ago. It started to seem to be on like every stream. I don't know how that's determined. All I know is that it's reset every stream. So like everybody starts at the same point on every stream. I think you get extra points if you're the first person into the chat. Question mark? I might be imagining that. I didn't read that. I'm just sort of like trying to piece things together and observe. Twitchmath also continues and says, regarding this reconsider it role-playing game, come to the Tavern of Distortion in the land of 505. That is so glorious. That will now be upon the screen for all to see. I hereby pin that comment. On the top 505, I often like to also put on, in addition to this reverb that I have going, which is now in the red-orange color, I have now just enabled on the far right another one, this pink one, that is a slicer. Usually I have a slicer or a tremolo all the way on the far right. I might once in a while have something else. I think there's one or two tracks that might have a roll on them. Roll is dope, but I usually don't use it as an output effect. I use it as an input effect usually. In any case, I am enabling a slicer right now. Nice. It's a little clearer here how the slicer is applying to the, whatever you call these layers, but it's not applying to the bass. That's dope. There's a lot of cool controls that it gives you in the slicer. Oh, by the way, a step slicer to be more precise, because there is more than one kind of slicer. But you have control in the slicer over things like, each individual slice. How loud is each slice relative to full volume? So you can do cool patterns of like, the slicer like fades itself out because you programmed ahead of time for it to fade out at a certain way at a certain rate. I like to play with things like taking, if you think of a measure as having 4 slices, just to stick with a simple example, you could do like fading out kind of in a linear line. Sometimes I like to do like, the first one is full volume, the second slice is like close to full volume, you probably don't even notice it's a little more quiet, and then the third one is 70, and then the fourth one is like all the way down to either 0 or 10 or something like that. Percent all of this. Or other things, like you can get interesting like once every 3 instead of once every 2 or once every 4, which I like to do. I like to play with like mathy time signature stuff. I'm so into that. I have a whole series on my YouTube page, by the way. If you're into that also, not long ago I was asked about that, if I do time signature stuff. And the answer is yes, I love it. I don't do it currently, but I did previously. If you like that, you should go look at my playlist called Flow Loops. There's a lot of weird time signature experiments in that, including rapping on weird time signatures. I should talk about that more. Although, it's kind of a stretch to call what I do there rapping. That's more just like spoken word that happens to fit a rhythm and also rhymes. I see our very close friend, in a very good place here with respect to this particular beat and you being caught up on how I made the beat, and also some very nice hanging out and talking about other little tangents and such. Now here's the best news of all. That means, based on what we've already achieved and how far we've come in this stream, it means that the time has come to add another layer into this. So I'm going to be going on to another instrument that I built. Whereas I built this bass instrument, and then I have this other instrument. The top looper lets you save 4 instruments in a given saved configuration, which I call a palette. So the next instrument that I'll be using from this palette, oh wow, this one's gonna be interesting. I did test these before the stream began, but I don't exactly remember it in detail. I have 36. I have 36 different palettes of instruments. That means I do not have them all memorized. So even though I just tested it, you know, it was, what, 40 minutes ago? But I think I have an idea what this one's going to sound like. This is going to be interesting. Before I use it, here's what this next instrument is built out of. I start with a synth. A synth is often one of the ones I use as a core voice as well. Just like this other one here. This was built on the distortion. We talked about that earlier. This next one is built on a synth. Synth I usually use like some kind of brass. I think the term that someone came up with on a previous stream, and I wish I could give that person credit, but I am not sure exactly who it was. But someone said a muted trumpet, and I said, oh, yeah, that's a bit what it is like. So this synth instrument that I'm about to use now, it's built on this so-called muted trumpet, which is pretty nice. That then gets passed into the electric, which is, as you know, the tuner. That's what makes it a D major, like we're listening to today. You can only do majors, though. I don't think I've ever said, well, I've said that on the stream, but I don't think I've ever said it in a way that is targeted. Anyway, the synth passed into electric to be tuned to whatever major key you wish. And then that's passed into a reverse delay, this new instrument that you've not yet heard on this stream. Another reverse delay, as I had on the previous one. And then all of that is passed into an auto harmonizer. That's the part that's going to be interesting to hear. An auto harmonizer on a synth, which is the muted trumpet type of thing. So yeah, I think I have a good sense of what this is probably going to sound like. And I think I know how I'm going to use it. But I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Or I could be right about how it sounds, but I'm wrong about how to use it. In any case, let's do this. Let's get into this. Let's move it. The music. The groove is too sick. You knew this. Who would get into it with me? Right now, we're gonna do this. You'll see. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going off the vocal mic, or the speaking mic, I should say. Going off the speaking mic. I'm going to go into the new instrument here. Again, this new one that you haven't heard yet on this stream, built out of a synth, passed into electric, or synth being the muted trumpet, passed into electric, that's the tuner, passed into a reverse delay. We'll see how much I use that on this one. And then all of that is passed into an auto harmonizer. And what's it set to? The auto harmonizer you can do like, I think is it an octave? I assumed it was an octave. I believe it is. It's not, it doesn't seem to specify that. I always assumed an octave, but I could be wrong. You can do things below or above. or a unison. So you can. It's basically adding another, harmonizing layer either above or below or unison. This one is one below. I thought it was one octave, but I could be wrong. In any case, I'm going off speaking mic. Let's do it. So this is the new instrument here that you hadn't yet heard on this stream. This is the one that's built out of the synth, the muted trumpet, so to speak, passed into the electric, that's the tuner, passed into a reverse delay, which you can hear that reverse delay on this. Reverse delay is pretty clear on that. And then pass into the auto harmonizer. So can you hear the double lower layer? So that's pretty nice. We got that new layer now. here's another difference between the bottom looper and the top looper, the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. I don't think I've ever said this on a stream before. But one of the things that was very clear to me when I first got the Mark II, when I first started using it, because I had been using the Mark I for 2.5, 3 years, at least, before I got the Mark II. And what I found with the Mark II was that the volume control on these, the volume slider, is much more, it's more sensitive, meaning it gives you finer control. So that was awesome. But also I find that it's more of a smooth, gradation. Am I using that word correctly? That it really is like a linear. If I move a little bit here, it gets a little quieter. If I move the same little bit down here, it's the same amount that it gets quiet. It's kind of like you'd expect. It's more intuitive, maybe I'll say that. Whereas in the bottom looper, it's not quite like that. There's like a leap to suddenly being loud from totally silent. You don't have as fine control. I think. I wonder if I'm wrong about that. It feels like it stays louder longer when I'm moving quieter. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm testing it out right now. Maybe it was just on this one all the way on the left that is kind of broken. As I've said a couple times, my regulars have heard me say this enough. So that's a good amount of slice there. So we still have one more. We have one more open slot needing a loop. And also there's one more instrument that needs to be used. That remains unused. And I'm happy to say, I was just going to say this is one of my favorites, but I just saw that there's something special about it that I don't normally do. And now that I'm looking at it more, I misread it. Never mind. I take back the thing about how I normally don't do it. But this final instrument that I'm going to be using here now, it is built as follows. I've got the synth, once again that muted trumpet, and that's passed into an electric tuner, passed into a lo-fi So it's going to have that like muted sort of sense to it, kind of a limited, a little grainy around the edges kind of feel. The synth, the muted trumpet, tuner, lo-fi, and then all of that is passed into a roll. Roll 1. There's multiple types of rolls. This is one of my favorite output effects. I'm already getting really excited at the thought of using it, even though I might not be expressing it outwardly in a way that's highly perceptible. I'm really excited about this. The roll gives it this very choppy, sound. I don't know how to describe that. But it takes a little sample and we'll repeat it, and I get to control how much it's repeating, how short of a sample it uses. It's really dope. I love it. It's one of my favorite, one of my top, 3 to 5, I would say. Probably top 3, but I'd have to write up a whole list. I don't want to make any promises. This is not some kind of formal swearing or oath. No such thing is occurring right now. So this new instrument that you haven't heard yet on this stream, synth, electric, lo-fi, roll 1. It's going to be really dope. I'm going to go off of the speaking mic at this time. I'm going to start using this new instrument here. Let's see what that sounds like. See what I mean by that choppiness. I see right now Cornish says, I hear elephants. Yeah, it's a big stompy. I beg your pardon. I have some sinusy stuff going on. And I had to step away in order to blow my nose. Can you believe this? I'm a human being with fallible qualities, including occasionally the need to turn off camera and do something like that. But yeah, I agree with the stomping elephant energy. This kick really kicks. So this new instrument, again, that I'm going to bring in right now once more. I love it. Synth, electric, lo-fi, roll 1. Selectively applying you might hear that I'm selectively applying the slicer just to these layers here, dynamically on the top here, bringing the slicer in and out. I don't know how clear that is on the camera. Can you see the little knob? Probably the answer is no on that. Yeah, you can't see the knob up here that I'm moving up, and it's a little off. I'll have to fix that camera. To be clear, the camera itself is fine. What I mean to say by fix the camera, what I mean to say is fix the positioning of the camera. There's like this implied other meaning there, even though I said fix the camera. Yet if you were to take my words out of context, and you were to just, give it to just those words, I need to fix the camera, that's it. And you were to give it to some random whoever, and you would say, what do you think this means? They'd be like, the camera's probably broken, it needs to be fixed. Whereas, in fact, that is not what I had meant by those words. This is why context matters. At least for communication purposes. Context matters for communication purposes. I see with us right now. Right now. this is a pretty successful beat. We got something pretty dope going on here. Cornish says he likes when I just sort of like I move my head back and gazes into the sky when he calls someone's name. Yeah, when I'm like, oh. Good. Good. I'm glad that's working well for you. I'm very sticking the landing. That's good. Yeah, I think this beat came out all right. This one's pretty good. I might use this for something. You know, I don't know if I've ever said this on a stream. I might have. It's certainly not something I say a lot or emphasize. But these beats can also be available for sale if anyone is looking for, you know, to use them for whatever project. That's also a plausible discussion that I am open to. So if you like any of the things from any of my live streams, I save them all. With like one or two exceptions here and there. Like a week ago, I was saving off my files and I didn't. There was one that seemed to be missing for a given date. And I was like, what's going on? And then I remembered that I had an issue when saving it, a user error. It was not a problem with the loopers, it was my fault. That I saved the top looper, but I did not save the bottom looper. So then, when I tried to save it off, I only had half of them. I didn't have the percussion at all. And I said, so that one wouldn't be available for you to purchase, to license for use. But most don't, you know, with a couple of rare exceptions. Thank you for being here for this very, very glorious and unifying togetherful experience we're having. This has been a good stream and you have contributed to that. We got a good beat here. Had a good experience along the way. This is pretty much everything you could ever ask for. Friends, I need to celebrate at this time. I am going to celebrate you. I have got my drink. I am going to count up to 3 and I am going to clink the screen. Man, it's going to be really good. Here it comes, my friends. It all begins on 1. Yes. Yes, the oneness has begun. 2. The oneness and the two-ness. Yes, we are with it. 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Oh boy, that's good. That's really good. That's really good. Oh, that's good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. I could use some subs. Shout out to my people in the year 7,194. heart has expressed interest in working with perhaps some beat on a project. I see. Is that the case? So that's why I thought I would say that, because I know there's interest in that. Hence, I hereby declare said availability. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for putting your energy into this and having an influence. I hope to see you in the next live stream. My regulars know. We have got a variety of live streams available here on Reconsider It's Music Sketchpad. Today in this stream, we did the upper right 505 beat making, where I build the beat and I talk about the buttons and the sounds and everything. We've also got in the lower right, we've got Tinkering in the Studio, where I make a beat and I also talk to you a lot, but not about anything in particular. Tinkering in the Studio has no structure whatsoever. We bring in the Hydrosynth as well. The Hydrosynth is not hooked up to the loopers, so it's still just my vocals on the loopers. But the Hydrosynth is really fun. Join us for Tinkering in the Studio. On the lower left, we have Unspoken. That's where we use the loopers, bring in the synthesizer, but absolutely no talking at all from start to finish. Not a word from start to finish. Join us for Unspoken. In the upper left, we got Loops and Chill. Loops and Chill. That looks like I'm doing a performance, like a rehearsed song, a rehearsed set. Nope. Building the plane while I'm flying it. Everything, just the beat, how I arrange it. 4, 5, 6 beats. Join us for Loops and Chill. And until then, my friends, until then, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please let the rest of your day today bring you all manner of rejuvenation. Please experience healing today. Please experience growth today. Please take the first step today to receiving all that is available for you. Please elevate today. Elevate yourself today. And I will see you in the next